Hello guys, welcome back to a new drum lesson. So at the request of James Burgess, I'm going to be looking at another Benny Greb drum lick. This one's from one of his drum solos, his many drum solos, and the lick itself caught my eye because it looked like a really interesting sticking, and I really wanted to break it down and see what was going on in it. So if you want to see the original performance, I'll put a link in the description below, and I'll put a timestamp so you know exactly where to start watching and where the lick is. But yeah, like I said, this lick really caught my eye because there's something interesting happening with the sticking. I analysed it and it turns out it's actually fairly simple in terms of the sticking, but again, it's not something you would normally think of playing, which is why it's so interesting. So this fill is just 2 bars long and the pattern stays the same for the entire thing. It's just 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. And the sticking is just left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right. So I'll just play that on the hi-hat so you can hear how it sounds. So as you can see, you're leading with the left hand for this lick, and that is probably the hardest thing to get used to because you're probably going to be playing a groove, leading with the right hand, and then you're going to be leading the left hand for this fill. So once you get used to changing that lead hand, the fill itself is not too bad. So if you're not used to leading with the left hand, I suggest you just do a slow 4/4 rock groove, and then you do a fill, which is just that hi-hat pattern I showed you, and just focus on leading with that left hand and switching that lead hand. And once you're comfortable with that, we can move on. So that is the sticking and the rhythm of the fill, but the orchestration is a lot different. So the first thing we're going to do to change the orchestration is we're going to bring that left hand down and we're going to play it down on the 3 of both bars. And that will give you that backbeat that keeps that fill cohesive in a groove. And the next thing we're going to do is with those 2 right hands, the second right hand is actually coming down to the snare drum and it's kind of a softer note. The way I like to do this, because it's obviously quite a fast change from the hi-hat to the snare, is I do a kind of twisting motion with my hand, so it's almost like one motion. I'll just play a quick example for you, and I'm going to leave the left hand backbeat out for now so you can just see what that right hand's doing and where that hits with the snare drum. And you put those orchestrations for both those hands together and you get this. And that there is the entire drum fill. And like I said, this is a half-time feeling fill, but you can actually do it as a full-time, normal time fill. So you just have to do the left hand and bring it down to the snare drum twice as much, on the 2 and the 4 instead of the 3. So a cool thing you can do is, instead of playing it as 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, you can play it as just triplets. So if you've got a kind of shuffly groove going on, it will sound much better and more cohesive that way. And of course you can change up the orchestration in any way you see fit, but it's a great embellishment for a groove and it does sound really interesting. It's just that sticking is something I would never think of myself, and it was such a challenge for me. I hope it's a challenge for you. but it will strengthen your left hand lead and it creates a cool fill. So thank you again, Benny, for the amazing fill as usual, and thank you, James, for the suggestion. If there's anything that you want covered, leave a comment below and I'll try my best to do a video on it. And until next time, take care. See you later.